as you would know, and we've just talked about at the start of this hour, the National Party, ACT parties and New Zealand First have identified very successfully that law and order was quite an issue. I noted comments indeed from Chris Hipkins, the outgoing Prime Minister, when asked why he thought Labour had done so badly, particularly in Auckland. And he said there were two primary reasons. The first reason was because they closed Auckland down longer than they should have, and Auckland never forgave them for the second closure under COVID. But he said the other one was that was the law and order issue in Auckland, and that people in Auckland who were living there felt that they did not have good security and that they were into danger of lawless elements in their society. And he made both of those comments and why he thought Labour had done so badly in Auckland in specific. So we also know that in response to that, the National Party, the ACT Party, and New Zealand First have developed law and order policies which are tough. I note, and what's usually not recorded in these policies, though, that there's they hope and also an active emphasis upon rehabilitation of criminals to try and tell them that their criminal ways are not a good thing, and to suggest that there might be other paths that they can go down. It's going to be a tough gig, but hey, at the end of the day, you want to be able to stop people joining gangs, and that gang numbers have doubled in the 6 years, aided and proliferated, I have to say, become much more professional and violent as a result of a large number of 501 deportees from Australia who have, on the basis, it seems, of just about everybody, provided a menacing and much more destructive and dangerous presence into gangs in this country. Now, as I said to you beforehand, it is government policy, or it will be the incoming government's policy, to do a number of things to target gangs in terms of their policing, and one of those is to ban gang insignia, gang patches in public places and public spaces, and to stop gangs from their active intimidation of decent abiding citizens through their ostentatious display of gang colours, insignia, gang convoys and the like that were so much part of the last 12 months. To that effect, the mongrel mob have chosen or have selected a lawyer who has gone public with the idea that the Nationals election pledge to ban gang colours and gang insignia is somehow illegal. But surprisingly, our next guest, the Free Speech Union Chief Executive Jonathan Ayling, has also come out in support of, it would appear, gangs in this country. Well, we'll find out in a moment. He's quoted in the New Zealand Herald this morning as saying that the National Party is grandstanding, that it has a bad and counterproductive policy relating to gangs, that banning gang patches in public places and suppressing gang communication and social media usage does not mean gang activity will cease to exist, rather it will simply push it out of sight. National's gangs policies, is quoted Mr. Ayling this morning in the New Zealand Herald, are grandstanding, appealing to fear. This policy not only fails to deal with the issue, it will compound the harms of crime and violence. Joining us to talk about those comments is the Chief Executive of the Free Speech Union, Jonathan Ayling. Welcome to the show, Jonathan.
Good morning, Michael.
Did you say all those things?
Absolutely. If from the outset I can just set the record straight slightly, I don't, in my employment, support anyone. We don't support Posy Parker. We don't support drag queens. We don't support anyone who, from a day-to-day basis, we get accused of standing alongside. We support all people's right to free speech. So no, I don't support gangs at all. That's a mischaracterization, just as much as it is to say I support Nazis because we stood up for Posy Parker's right to free speech. We support the fundamental right to speak in this country, and that doesn't cease to exist because you're in a gang?
Yes, it does. And how come you can't see that?
Well, the High Court has found it hasn't.
Yeah, but that's the High Court. But the High Court got it wrong. And that's why the National Party and the ACT Party and New Zealand First have put out a policy that has been endorsed by New Zealanders 2 weeks ago in an election, that they are going to ban gang insignia and crack down on gang activity in this country, including making it illegal, their ostentatious displays and public intimidations.
You may know something about the negotiations that are going on between National and ACT at the moment that I don't, but to my knowledge, none of the negotiations there have been released, so I have no reason to think...
No, you just read their policies, Jonathan. You just need to read the policies. I'm sure you did read their policies. ACT doesn't have a policy on this issue. Michael, I don't want to get off on the wrong foot here, because you and I agree on most of these issues. I think we need a very strong response to gangs in this country, but I oppose censorship, and I oppose censorship for two reasons, and I think you and I can agree on both of these reasons. Well, no, so we're disagreeing at the moment, I have to say, because I don't understand why your organisation and you, Jonathan, are supporting criminal organisations.
Again, Michael, that's a lazy comment.
No, it's not a lazy comment, it's an accurate one. You're trying to stop, or you're arguing that banging gang badges and gang insignia and ostentatious display of criminal behaviour is in some ways contrary to a freedom of speech principle. Now, out of the two of them, which is the more important?
Even if that were true, and it's not, that doesn't mean I'm supporting gangs. It means I would be supporting free speech. But allow me to explain why censorship doesn't work. There's two reasons. Censorship doesn't work because it actually suppresses the actions that we want to be able to identify, and so that's the key reason. The problem with gangs is not that the mongrel mob walks around with a dog on its back. The problem with gangs is they proliferate harm and misery in our society, and hopefully on that you can agree with me, that gangs are peddlers of misery.
If they are peddling, yeah, but part of the peddling is their wearing of the gang patches and gathering for the purposes of displaying their colours and their insignia in public places, is it not?
So if gangs stop wearing their gang patches, they can continue to go around and deal drugs and murder people and hit people off and engage in coercive prostitution. Is that the major issue, or is it?
No. But you're putting up a straw man argument, Jonathan. Your straw man argument is that the National Party and ACT and New Zealand First have said that gang patches and insignia will solve the gang problem. They're not saying that. They are saying they want to stop the public intimidation of New Zealanders and communities by making it harder for these people to gather in the way in which they're going to gather and display their gang insignia and advertise their illegal means. I mean, that's not quite the same as saying, well, it's not going to work. They're trying to stop public displays of this kind of activity and utilise and bringing in a new law that will allow the police to intervene should they do so. That's fair enough, isn't it?
Look, in the Hawke's Bay right now, one of the areas in the country that is where gang violence is most endemic, gang patches virtually don't exist at all.
Yes, they do.
Because all you have to do...
I've been there and I've seen... Oh, come on. You talk to a Hawke's Bay person.
Michael, please let me finish one of my sentences.
Well, that's just not true, though, Jonathan.
If you let me finish the second part of the sentence, it's if you walk down the street wearing red, that is near enough. And so we're going to outlaw colours as well?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yep, absolutely.
So you're not allowed to wear... Oh, this is fantastic. You're not allowed to wear red anymore.
No, not if you are a gang member. If an overt part of a gang's symbolism, yes, that's correct. And you know what, Jonathan? Because you haven't been in this country very long, it actually has been in somewhere in New Zealand, in Wanganui, and it worked.
And it wasn't struck down by the court.
It was struck down by the court, but it worked.
Oh, it was struck down by the court.
Yeah, but that's because it wasn't... Wait on. And again, because you don't know the law of this country. You don't know the law of this country, Jonathan. That was a local bill. What National and New Zealand First and ACT are proposing is a national bill, a piece of legislation. There's a difference. There's already a piece of legislation in this country that bans gang insignia from places like schools and hospitals. Now, that's the law.